Welcome everyone to another episode of the YOUthentic Branding Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Andrea Niño de Guzman. She is a transformation catalyst, and I'm super excited to have her here. My name is Kerstin. I am your host, and today we have a super exciting topic. We are talking about how you can build your most successful brands by knowing your human design. Woohoo! Welcome, Andrea. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. It's
Welcome,
a
welcome.
pleasure. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Just for everyone, just maybe introduce yourself, say a few words of what you do, and then we can dive into this super exciting topic.
Perfect. Well, okay. Just as you said, I am a transformational catalyst. My place of service is to help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs release their inner saboteurs and really reconnect with their inner wisdom so that they can step into their power and serve their purpose in this world. I'm a number girl by trade. After 15 years in the corporate sector and running two large corporations, I left corporate life to really focus exclusively on personal development, which is my absolute passion. And I basically merged both of my experience being and running a business, and my experience with everything that I've learned about how the mind and the brain works. And I'm a really firm believer that, business strategy and personal development go hand in hand. And you can't really grow and scale a business without having done the personal work as well. So and beyond that, it's really not about fixing what's wrong with you, but it's about embracing your inner perfection. So I talk a lot about that, about embracing who we are, and human design ties perfectly with that. So I'm really
Yes.
honored to share this space with you.
Awesome. And you know what? I came across human design a couple of months ago after going through Jim Fortin's TCP program. And I have been in the branding and marketing business my whole life, I think over 25 years now. And so in the past few years, I really have been focusing on personal brand development. And this is really all about authenticity and aligning yourself with who you are, because as you just said, without personal development and business development go really hand in hand. And so I came across human design by accident. If there is such a thing like this. And so and the reason why this was mentioned to me was because I was talking about niching down. I have been working with nonprofit organizations for at least 10 years. We were focusing on that, but I felt there's something else in me, and I had a problem. I said, okay, where should I go now? I'm an entrepreneur, and I really believe that entrepreneurs and nonprofits are the ones that are leading change. And there's so much that needs to be done in our world. And I just didn't know, okay, I need to focus, but I don't know how and what. And then this lady said to me, why don't you look into your human design? And I thought, oh, human design. This sounds cool. What is it? So, Andrea, can you explain for everyone listening today or watching the replay, what is human design in the most simple way?
Simple way. Okay. Well, in its essence, human design is really the science of understanding yourself. It sheds light on your emotional, energetic, and psychological makeup. It's kind of, if you've ever wanted, for those of you who are parents, to have an owner's manual for your children, that is what human design is. It's your owner's manual. It's how you are designed to run, to interact with others, to in every aspect of your life, whether it's career, business, partnerships, relationships. And the way it's built is it brings together ancient wisdom with modern science. So it's a combination of astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the Hindu chakra system, the Kabbalah, along with quantum physics and genetics. And this combination really gives you this operating manual for how you are uniquely designed to make decisions, to communicate, and really make it easier for you to flow and create and show up in life in the way that feels aligned with you.
Wow.
And like I said before, human design in the essence is not about changing who you are, but it's about giving you permission to be who you've always been.
Yeah. And this is like so cool, because especially like as an entrepreneur, when you're out there wanting to market or trying to market yourself and looking into different strategies, we often find ourselves comparing with others, like what do they do, and then we copy it, and then we are not sure and it's not working, and then we try this strategy because it that work for this person, and then we get frustrated because it doesn't work for me. So I have found out that I am a manifesting generator, and I know there are 5 types of human design types. And can you explain like what are those 5 types, and like what is the difference between those?
Sure. Yes, there are 5 types. It's basically how our centers are defined. Centers where we process energy. So not everybody is designed the same way. That's one of the premises. And for example, we have manifestors. Manifestors make up 10% of the population. There are people who are here to, walk at the beat of their own drum. They are really connected with this inner, we're going to call it like this inner wisdom, this inner flow that something needs to be brought to life that is very different from what we see in our surroundings. So for example, for manifestors, they need to honor their cycle, this inner creative cycle that is not really connected to the traditional way that we work. For manifestors are not designed to work 9 to 5. They have their own cycle, and they need to honor their rest, but they also need to follow these inner surges. They need to also learn to trust whatever is brewing inside them. What happens is, for example, I see manifestors as this wild horse that has been tamed by society, because when they're little, they have all these crazy ideas, and they grow up hearing, oh, that's not possible. Oh, that's too difficult. Oh, that's not going to work. And it basically disconnects them from this inner drive that they have to bring things into their life. So then once they bring it into their life, then the generators come up, that they make up 35% of the population. And they are here to continue this, to bring life, to give continuation to these new ideas. A lot of the work, for example, with a generator is tied to joy. This notion of business and pleasure, this old notion that they shouldn't work together does not go with a generator. Business needs to be pleasurable for them. They need to really enjoy what they're doing. And they have this inner GPS, this inner intuition that's, in their sacral, that guides them to what their next step is. And, that their success happens when they're giving themselves permission to really master their craft, to really master what they enjoy, and then to teach it. And something that they need to be careful with from a traditional business perspective is doing things because they have to do it, not because they want to do it. So a lot of the work goes into teaching generators, what do you want to do? Not what you have to do. Having is heavy. I want to do it is light, and it feels more empowering. And then that brings us to manifesting generators, which are a combination of both. And that's you, Kerstin, and that's me. Yeah. We are multi-passionate people. We are here to do things at record speed. We're manifesting generators are people who manage multiple projects at the same time, who can accomplish many things in very little time. And for those who aren't manifesting generators, it's mind-blowing. They tell you, how can you run your day, doing so many things? And it's so unnatural.
I never stop doing things.
Exactly.
I get up and I start, and then I don't even take a break, but I usually go until I'm exhausted and I fall to bed, and that's it.
Because you're doing what you like. So doing things that you like, gives you even more energy. And you need to have these multiple projects going on, because that you have so much energy that you need to put your focus on multiple things at the same time. And not only that, but you also need to have freedom. Freedom is huge for manifesting generators to know to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Because they operate at a different speed, sometimes it can be overwhelming for a manifesting generator to slow down and do things at, it's something that's not aligned to your speed. So, for them, imposter syndrome, the imposter issue is a huge thing, because we live in a society where they tell you, you need to focus on or be an expert in one thing. But you can't, if you're interested in multiple things, then are you really an expert? What does an expert really mean? So there's a lot of doubting, and you can quickly go into imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And then we have projectors, which are 20% of the population. They are amazing human beings who have this inner wisdom. I call them the walking X-ray machines, because they see through you. They see your potential. They see through the masks that you're putting on. They are great at mastering a system. And because they see through you, they need to create the safe space to share what they see in you. They are great leaders. They are, great coaches. But something that they need to work on is to recognize themselves as that expert. They need to work on, their value, and to honor their value. And lastly, we have the reflectors, which are 1% of the population. There are very few reflectors here. If you've ever seen a chart that's tied to a reflector, it's completely white. There are no centers defined.
Wow.
And they are walking mirrors. They're here they're here to be the barometers of how the health of our culture is doing. They work deeply with communities. They are in tune with with teams, with small communities, and their way of being is really an expression of what they're sensing in their surroundings. So they can be these unbiased judges. They're here to reflect and serve a well-being energy, and they're also here to predict patterns from what they're observing. So they're all very different. They're all great. We don't have best or worst. They all are here to serve a unique space and a unique purpose within a bigger collective.
Yeah. Wow. And I think what I find is so interesting in this, probably when we look into team building as well, that we not only have manifestors in our team or manifesting generators, so that we have a mix. Is there usually like a specific, like for specific positions, like is it good to have a specific type of
rather than type?
So
I think it's really important for your team to really know their design. I'll give you an example. I was coaching a startup recently, and it's a 2-member the founding team is made of 2 members. One of them is a manifestor, and the other one is a projector. So what that's telling me is that they don't have access to sustainable energy. So they need their rest periods. And the manifestor really needs time to go out and create things, but at their own space, at their own pace as well. So if you are in this process of really scaling a startup, where you need to be doing activities daily in a very intense way because you want to scale fast, and you don't have access to that energy, then that means that your team is lacking somebody with that energy. So we started looking for somebody with that energy to bring into the team to provide balance.
Yeah.
And once you understand how your team is made up, how you are designed and how your team is designed, then it becomes easier to see how you can really leverage each other's strengths and abilities.
Yeah, totally. So talking about energy, like what if something, like if I'm not in tune with myself, and are there any like the up and the downside of the energy? So what how does that work if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be?
It shows up, I call them red flags, in for example, with a generator, a manifesting generator as well, you might feel frustration. And what that looks like is, for example, you're doing all the right steps. You're following everything to the T. You signed up for these wonderful coaching programs. You're doing the work and you're not getting the results. And that creates frustration.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Or,
I know that.
I've been there too. So, frustration in that case is really a red flag of why it leads you to question, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you really tied to your purpose? Are you really tied to your vision? And if that's the case, then, just keep on showing up and kind of ride through the discomfort so that you can get to the other side.
Yeah.
But if you're really doing this for another reason, I call it having an agenda, for example. An agenda is where you're not really tied to your purpose or a vision, but you're tied to having a specific income, or you're doing things because you see that everybody is doing them and you feel that you need to do them as well. Having that agenda will probably end up in frustration because the energy is it's not focused on creating something, but it's really about pushing through. It's kind of like forcing things to happen. And that comes from a sense of insecurity or from lack. So because somebody else has it or is doing it, then I want to have it too. And in the case of projectors, for example, the red flags come up as bitterness, where they're not being seen or they're not being recognized. They feel they're offering all this wonderful and very valuable content and input and even feedback, and it's landing on deaf ears, or they're even being criticized, or their feedback is being rejected. So they become bitter because they see the potential in people, and it's very frustrating to them when they see they're just not listening to me. And we start looking into, okay, where are you pushing this energy? How are you relating yourself to your peers, to your partners, to your clients, so that you can create this safe space of recognition. And they can invite you into sharing and really accepting what you're listening, what they're listening. In the case of a reflector, it's seen as disappointment because they see all this potential. Again, they're the barometers of the world. They see what's possible and they see how we can change. But then again, they see us be really living out of alignment, and they become disappointed because they see we can do more, and we can be more. And in the case of a manifestor, it's really expressed as anger. But anger, it's anger because they have so much creative energy. They have so much energy from inside that when they are interrupted, it's like misplaced energy that is expressed as anger.
Yeah. I also, when you just mentioned energies, I've run the profiles for our whole family, which was very interesting. Or I just, as I mentioned in the beginning, I just tipped my toes into it. But so what I found out is that I'm a manifesting generator. My husband is a manifesting generator. One of our daughters is a manifesting generator, and our other daughter, the oldest daughter, is a manifestor.
Okay.
And so what I have learned from the manifestor is that the manifestor has a different type of energy, which is more repelling. And I found that so interesting because I felt that she is the one who always is separating herself from us. And she comes up with ideas and she just does it. And I also learned that it is important for those manifestors to inform.
Yes.
So is there a specific way to how we can communicate with each other so that we understand each other better?
Yes. In the case, for example, with your daughter, who's a manifestor, that's what I mean. They have this energy, and basically their essence is, I want to do it, and I go out and do it.
Yeah.
And the struggle,
I don't care what you guys do, but I do it.
Exactly. And the struggle is that the world isn't really prepared, or maybe the timing isn't right. Because, for example, with a child, you're supposed to be studying now, or you're supposed to be doing other things, and they're telling you, no, but I want to go out and do this. So there's this balance between my inner drive and what I'm supposed to be doing as a society, or the role that I'm playing in a society. That's where informing really comes into play. More so to prepare your loved ones, to prepare your team, to prepare your inner circle about what you're about to do, so that when you go out to do it, because it's so fast and it's very impulsive, there's a lot of the manifestors have this strong aura. You know that when you can feel their presence when they're in the room, and then likewise you can feel their absence when they're not in the room. So when they go out and do things, you might be caught off guard, and that can be troublesome if you're not ready. So that's where the informing piece comes into play, to prepare others and what's key here is not to ask permission. It's not about asking permission. It's really about, I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do, so that you prepare yourself. But I don't need you to tell me whether it's possible or not. I'm just telling you, this is what I'm brewing. This is what I'm creating. That's a great way to communicate. In the case of a generator, a lot of the conversation is tied to, again, this notion of what brings you joy. And because generators have access to this energy, I call it the Duracell bunny energy, where you're going. And it can be very easy for you to just get caught up in things that you don't love, but that you have to do. So just because you have to do it, you just end up doing it, but they don't bring you joy. And then that ends up in frustration. That can end up in burnout. So the conversation is about, what do you want to do today? What do you choose to do today? And creating those safe spaces so that they decide, and it's not imposed on them,
Yeah.
And also talking about, generators are these magnets for ideas. They have so many ideas, and they feel pressure because they want to execute all of them. And not all of them are meant to be executed at the same time or by them. So it's talking about, okay, what are you thinking about? And what do you want to do? What feels right for you? And bringing back the conversation to this inner wisdom, to your intuition. A lot of the dialogue is about connecting to your intuition again, and stepping out from the head, from the should do's, from the have to's, and going into, okay, what feels right for you, or what do you want to do?
So, Andrea, is there a specific strategy? Because I think our society has really trained us to do things with our mind and just with thinking, like starting with school, like there is no inner intuition. It's all about learning and remembering things. And so this is how we are judged and how we go into business life. And I think we totally lost the connection with our intuition. And I think from what I've heard, like for human design, it's really important, like to connect with this again. So how can we do this? Like, is there a specific strategy that,
We in human design, those are called authorities, the way that we decide, but it really is the way that we connect inwards. Because you're right, the mind is a great, and it's a wonderful tool to help us process information, to help us analyze. But from a human design perspective, it's not really here to help us decide. Because a lot of what we have in our minds are beliefs that are based on our conditioning, right? Based on what we believe we should do, what others expect us to do. Whereas here in our body, we have a lot of I call it the inner wisdom. It's our intuition. And in reality, we have 3 ways of processing information. Yes, one is the analytical, but the other one is the intuitive, and the other one is the emotional side. And we need all 3. However, like you say, the school system and how, even as we're running business, we're traditionally taught to run business on a more analytical level. And we silence the intuitive side of how we sense we should connect with our clients, of what we sense, how we feel that we should create, or the products, the services, the courses that you want to launch. And we just go into overthinking, and that often leads to frustration or inaction. So how we connect depends on your authorities. There are some people who really need to wait out, who are tied to their emotional energy and really need to give themselves time to they decide something and they need to give themselves time to see if that decision sticks for a while. So for example, if I want to launch this course, before it becomes a hard yes, I want to see if I really want to do this, whether I'm happy or whether I'm sad, regardless of my emotional state. If the answer stays aligned, then yes, that's a yes for me. For others, it's a more intuitive response. It's like this knowing, it's this response from your body, that's your intuition, your gut saying, yes, this is for you, or no, this is not for you. For others, it's more of an instinctual response, from your splenic center. And for another part, it's really more about, what do I desire? Really connecting with, what do I desire? So a lot of it is really, in all of the cases, it's about stepping away from the external world and really diving deep into your inner world, your inner guidance, and connecting with everything that's brewing inside you.
So for the manifesting generator, like, is there a specific way? Like, I heard I think that's how they work. Like, we need, as a manifesting generator, we need to respond. So, and I was wondering, like, what is this respond? Like, what does like, let's say I have an idea, I want to launch, and do I have to wait? Do I have to wait for signs before I can do something, or
Yes.
do I just do it? And how does
Yes.
this work? Like, what is meaning? What is it with the responding thing?
When it comes to generators and manifesting generators, your strategy is to respond. And what responding means is, yes, you come up with an idea, but you're here to really dance with the world, to dance with the universe. So you, instead of focusing on, I have the idea, now I want to see how am I going to execute it, and you go into overthinking, you're just constantly in your mind, you switch that and you ask a question. And you ask the question to the universe. Show me what is my next right step. Show me how I can create, or how I can bring this project into life. Show me if this is aligned with me. Show me how. But you ask a question, and it ties to everything that we hear about. The quality of your life is really a reflection of the quality of the questions that you ask yourself.
Yeah.
So we ask, because as we ask our question, we really start focusing on other things, because our mind is trying to answer that question. So we ask the question and we let the universe respond within our external environment with the answer. And a lot of that is it can come up as signs, it can come up as coincidences, people reaching out to you. In easier terms, it's really about posing even questions on your social feed, so that people respond. Are you interested in this? I'm thinking about creating this. Are you interested? And let people respond. Or it's even about doing test trials, especially for a manifesting generator, testing the waters, doing a beta launch, just to get a sense of, does it feel right for you? And also, does it feel right for the people that you're creating? What response are you getting from this?
Yeah. So with testing the waters, and you mentioned in the beginning, when before we hopped on the call today, you said that you came to know human design about a year ago, and then you thought, oh, this is a lot. I don't know if I want to do it, but it showed up again and again. So is that like an example of the responding thing? Did you ask a question, or like, how does this, like, what was your journey?
I'll give you an example with a recent course that I launched. It's a program that is called the Aligned Business Accelerator. So it really is to teach you how to do business, how to run and create a business model that is based on your human design. And this idea really came up in the shower of, oh, I should do this. And and it was perfect, and I already had the course laid out. I already knew what I wanted to talk about. But knowing my design, I knew that if I just went out and did it, I would get crickets, because it has happened before. I've created all these ideas, and the minute I promote them, nobody answers. Nobody. So then I asked the question to the universe. In my case, it was, okay, universe, I have this idea. Does this idea want to be born? And I let it out, and I really detached myself from the outcome. And I just asked. And I kept on showing up with my business day to day, doing what I do. So then what happened was 3 clients came up to me in separate occasions when I was doing readings with them, and we would go into the business aspect, and they would tell me, oh, you know what? Why don't you create a course about this? Okay, that's one.
Oh.
Second client came up, and she's like, oh my goodness, this is wonderful. I would just pay for this information. I mean, everything that you've given me has been great, but this has been gold, and I really, really value it. Okay, second person that tells me that. And then I had another interaction with a third client who told me something very similar. So for me, that was the confirmation that yes, this course was ready to be born. And the minute that I launched it, it's a soft launch, but because it was aligned, because it was in the right moment, the response that I got from it was very positive. And without me putting too much effort, without me hustling, without me pushing through, it's sold out, and it's growing, and I'm using it in my case as a manifesting generator as part of a testing experiment. So say, okay, you're interested. Now let's see how we can give it more life, how we can give it, more sense into this course that we are creating. Right now it's in a beta launch, but that's how it shows up. It shows up as coincidences, or just ideas, or people even calling you out and telling you, oh, I need this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean with that. And I had this amazing idea a couple of weeks ago, and it came up more or less overnight, similar to you. And I said to my partner, oh, we need to do this. This is so cool. Like, we have our nonprofit clients, and this would be perfect. And let's just do it. And within, it was the fastest launch ever. But I didn't ask. And so I have been working on this thing with 2 other clients already, and it was going really well. So I thought, let's just launch it and see if we can create a program from it. And we had a good sign up for our masterclass, but then nobody signed up later on. And I know it's really, really valuable, and I know it's a good class, and the interest was there. And then I thought maybe it was not the right moment. Maybe it was the wrong audience, because I know it works. I know it's good. And people are doing similar things, but it was super fast, super fun,
Mm-hmm.
but it resulted in 0 sales.
Exactly. Yes. And it's counterintuitive to what they tell you, or what to many common programs tell you about how you should create courses. I'm a design thinker. By training. So I've done design thinking programs where you go out and you research, and you ask the clients, where are you? What are your pain points? And you create based on that. And then you create your minimum viable product.
Yes.
But this is very counterintuitive to all that.
So would you think that, I'm just when you're just saying that, it feels like all the right steps, but maybe my energy isn't there, or maybe I'm just feeling it. No, not feeling it. I mean,
yeah, it's not the right time, or not. Yeah. Like you say, it's not the right audience. So when you take time to ask that question, and not only that, but you really detach yourself from the outcome. So you really let the universe respond.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get that confirmation that yes, not only this is the right path, but why don't you follow this step? In my case, I never thought about doing this program for coaches. My initial idea was I want to do this for small business owners who are not in the world of coaching. Mm. But then I got this response from coaches, and I said, okay, maybe this is my market for this specific product. And let's go for it. I am in the process right now of creating something completely different for multi-level marketing. And I never thought that that would be my segment. Never.
So then how did this show up then?
It showed up as an invitation. Again, it showed up. I had a conversation with a few leaders in the company, and they started asking about what I do, with human design and hypnosis and transforming your self-limiting beliefs. And they told me, this is what we need. Would you consider running this for our company? And I said, okay, yes, let me think about it. Then another company showed up and asked me this exactly same thing. Would you consider creating something for us, or a training, something specific for us within the personal development side? So it's part of the responding. That doesn't mean, and this is key, that you're sitting in the couch all day waiting for the signs to come up. You still have to take action. You still have to show up. You still have to take the inspired action. I call it daily inspired action. Action that is really tied to your bigger purpose or to your vision, right? And as you take action, you stay in alignment, and you create these opportunities, these windows of opportunities to show up.
So then the key to really building a successful brand is what? Like when we look into human design,
I think the key for a successful brand is to first detach yourself from what the world is telling you that you should do, and to dive deep into and explore deep into who are you. First, what is your purpose? What are you here for? What is your bigger why? What do you want to accomplish in this world? What do you stand for? And then when you have that clear, then through human design, as you understand how you are designed to interact, how you're designed to create, how you're designed to communicate, to decide, to engage with others, whether you have more energy to create courses, whether you're designed to create one-on-ones, because we can look into a lot of that, even to the size of the groups. Human design gives you a lot of information onto that. I think it helps you detach from all these shoulds and have tos that traditional people tell you about how you should run your business, about how you should build your brand. And you and it gives you more power to step into your business and to step into your creation from a more authentic standpoint. Because brand really, when you're selling yourself, you're selling your authenticity, right? You're selling who you are. And when you are authentic, you really show up as yourself. You're not playing small. You're not keeping yourself in a box. You're really shining. You're really occupying the space that you're meant to occupy, instead of, walking on eggshells so that you don't make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the shining and the energy, this is really it. Like if we feel confident and we can fill in like who we are, then this is what is expressed. And then you're not playing small anymore. You mentioned like knowing the why. Is knowing the why something that also human design can give us an answer?
Yes, we call it the incarnation cross. It's your life theme. It's a combination of, you have your conscious and unconscious side, and the conscious and unconscious earth. So it's the first numbers when you run your charts. That is your incarnation cross, and it gives you a sense of how you're here, how you're here to show up. It's basically like 80% of your personality. That tied in with your profile really gives you a sense of what you're here to do. And it's obvious. It's not going to tell you you're here to be an accountant. It's here to tell you you're here to talk about these things. You're here to help people. For example, I was talking to a client the other day, and a lot of her work is to help people embrace new ways of thinking, to really question the pattern, to really question the status quo. And that's her purpose. That's her purpose in life. Another client is here to really lead with love, and to teach what it is about leading with love, to really teach about embracing these new ways of leadership. And what the beauty of human design is that when we do a reading, or when we go through your chart, ironically, none of this is new knowledge. Nothing is new. It really is. It really connects. It really helps you reconnect with this sense that you already had. It's this knowing, and many clients tell me this, like, you know what, I already knew this. This, I already knew this from many years ago, but for some reason I shut it down, or I stopped listening to this. And now that you're telling me this again, it's very validating to know that, I was on the right path, or that what I was sensing was actually, it makes sense, or it's actually true. It's not me going crazy. It really is true. And that's part of your inner wisdom. And I'm not the magician. I'm not the fortune teller that's going to tell you how your life is going to be run. I'm just really here to, again, reconnect you with all that wisdom that you already have in you.
Yeah. Oh, that is so interesting, Andrea. Also, in the beginning, when you said that the manifesting generator needs freedom, and before I looked into human design, we did like a value exercise, and then I also identified like my brand archetype, and freedom was one of my highest values, has always been, and my brand archetype is the explorer. So I'm really into, I need to find new ways. And that also expresses in when we are on vacation, for example. I still remember my friend and I, we were in Spain and we wanted to go somewhere. I was reading the map, and I, at one point I said, screw the map, just go. And this is, it's nicer here. Let's go left, the right. The map says right, but this is boring. Like, let's go left. So it is like not being in a box, like finding out what else is out there. So I find this, like, this is, I think we are always looking for a confirmation, because we are maybe not trusting ourselves. Yes. And so I feel like since we started with launching programs and not working one-on-one, like not only working one-on-one, I feel that I really like to do the deep work. I really need connection with people. For me, it's not really satisfying to put a course out there and then not knowing what happens with it. Yeah. So,
yep, and it's your design. By looking at your profile, as I'm looking at your profile right now, you are definitely designed for one-on-one work.
So is there, we didn't talk about this earlier. I know you looked at my design. I have no idea what you see there or what not, or if there are any red flags. So I don't know, is there anything interesting that would be worthwhile to mention, to learn also for others today?
From your design, here's what I gather. You're here to change the way that people think. That there's a lot of transformation energy in you, and probably that's why you are connected to this world of, and really questioning, what does niching mean, and questioning, what does authenticity mean, and how can we create a more authentic brand? Because through the work that you're doing right now, you are challenging what has already been established. So there's this transformational energy, deeply transformational energy in you. You have a lot of powerful energy of, let's get things going. I imagine that once you get to it, you're like this go-to person. Yes, yeah. You have a lot of energy, deeply intuitive, and there's also this channel about you that is related to this knowing, that you know a lot of things. You don't know how you know, but you just know. You just get this sense. And probably in your past, you have been doubting, or maybe even looking for facts, or rational ways of thinking to support what you know. Mm-hmm. Because it's a subconscious. It's this deeper layer of knowingness that is not really tied to anything that's rational. You just have this information, and you're really here to share it. The challenge is to be able to share it when the timing is right, and not to go into the self-doubt of, do I know enough or not? So and part of what your lessons here are to really hone into this inner knowing, to this intuition, to this intuition, especially right now in this second stage of your life, which is after 40. Everyone that's after 40, I feel that after 40, we really connect to this deeper sense of purpose. So that is one of your key lessons, is to trust this inner knowing, trust that you know, and it's not based on knowing from reading, from studying. It's this deep wisdom, deeply connected knowingness that you're here to share. And a lot of the work that you're here to do is also and what you're here to talk about is about bringing joy into what you do, doing things because they light you up, and not because it's for, to attain something, but being and correcting things. But there's this component of joy in your work.
And interesting that you say that, because I have always been like joy is also one of my highest values. And in the past, I thought I can't be like fun and joyful and happy and professional at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought I have to be serious and talk serious and do all those things a specific way and not be fun. And that was really like holding me or keeping me in this box.
Yes.
And I had like a light bulb moment when I was facilitating a visioning session with, I think, 20 people. And I had this little squishy with me, like a little goofy thing. And I said, so every time nobody is going ahead and wants to answer the question, I'm just throwing this thing, and whoever catches it need to answer. So, and I did some fun exercises with dancing and all of this. And at the end of this like half-day workshop, 2 people came up to me and said, oh, this was so much fun. I thought like I would never go through this half-day workshop without falling asleep, but you did it so entertaining and we did so much done. Thank you. And I thought,
part of your energy. Yes. Yes.
And energy is something that I have been told, and like everyone when I do, like, I love doing videos and impromptu things. Although I am naturally like an introvert, I would say, but I love to make people happy and just be fun and goofy. And when I do this, I get a lot of feedback saying, oh, I love your energy. This is what people say, not necessarily what I say, but they love my energy because I don't know what I do, but I just like it.
You speak from this moment, from this place of joy. At the beginning, we were talking about Mercury being, one of the planets. The gate that you have there is really this gate of joy. So that's why, and it's the energy that you emit, and it's not something that you're thinking about. How am I going to do it? It's not something that's in your mind. You're just showing up.
Yeah,
and that's the essence of human design. It's just, you're just showing up as you are. You're not overthinking. You're not tied to an agenda. You're not doing this because you know that you're going to get more likes. It's just, you're flowing because you feel comfortable. And it's okay.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah. That reminds me of when I was a teenager going to high school. I had to take the train every morning, and like it was like 6 o'clock and everyone was just tired sitting at the gate, and I was there. And like, shut up.
Yeah, that's you. That's all you. And you have this energy of being observed. So some people are more observers. So they're like flowers in the wall, observing or standing on the sidelines. And when they're ready to share results, they share them. And that's how they're meant, how they're designed to create, how to communicate. I am more of the observer. So if I share the back scenes, for example, on my social media, if I share the back end of my day-to-day, it doesn't really land very well. People are confused. But when I share specific results or deliverables, it flows with my energy. In your case, it's the opposite. people really want to see you in your day-to-day doing the things, that's part of the observed energy. They want to see you playing in the playing field.
Interesting. So now talking about that and mentioning social media, like how can we, knowing our human design, like how can we translate that into marketing? I think you just mentioned like me as an example, like what would be like, or is it maybe just for all manifesting generators, or is it specifically for me? Are there different nuances that like how do you do that? Like when you read like a chart, like could you specifically say it would be good if you share, I don't know, behind the scenes and you go on video and is that something that, can you go that deep? Is that possible?
Yes, you can go that deep. When I read a chart, I actually go through each center. So the human design is based on these shapes, right, that you see in the middle. Each shape is called the center. So whether it has a color or whether it's white, that defines your definition, and that tells me how you are here to give your energy. When you have definition, you are emitting this energy, and that's what's showing up on social media. So based on your definition, I can give you pointers onto whether are you're here, for example, are you here to ask questions? Are you here to ask inspiring questions? Or maybe are you here to share your strong and bold opinions, or to walk people through your thought process? Or are you here to express yourself and share stories that really move people, or to talk about things engaging in powerful emotions? Or are you here to talk about how you take care of yourself and your self-love practices? Are you here to talk about the things that you want, about your desires and how you make things happen? Or how you how you go about your day in your creative flow and you just do things? Or are you here to talk about and to guide people through their fears, or to teach them how to move through their fears? Or even to how you react to stress? Like everything that I mentioned is related to a specific center. So we go through the centers, we go through how each of the gates are which gates are defined. We go through how the planets are arranged, because they all have specific messages as to how you're here to show up and what you're here to talk about on social media. And why all of this is important? Because our words, our message is also carries an energetic frequency, right? So when we're crafting these messages based on our definition, we're putting them out in the world, and whoever is going to receive them, whether it's through a video, through a podcast, through an image on social media, is going to receive that emotional frequency. And that's what connects us on a deeper level. That's why we get this hunch of, I don't know what she has, but I really like her. There's just something about you that it really catches me, and it's because I'm receiving your energy. And maybe I don't have to hear you, but just by stepping into your space, into your social media, into your content, whatever it is that you're creating, just by stepping into your space, I'm getting a sense of your energy.
Yeah, that is really interesting. So basically, it is possible, let's say, as a strategy, like figuring out or reading the human design, getting confirmation on, for example, what I already felt, that I'm more like a deep connecting person that performs better in one-on-one or really small groups. So then based on that, I can create my product,
exactly.
Launch in a specific way.
Yes.
And then also you say I can also market in a specific way. So really I can, from all those things, that the noise that comes in from the outside world and from all the gurus that say do this, do that, I can really pick what is most aligned to me. And would it be beneficial, even now I'm thinking further, to find someone that is more aligned with, that is, for example, also a manifesting generator? Like, would it be, should we go that far that we work?
When you're working, it actually works the other way. So for example, when you're working one-on-one, you being the coach with a client, it's great if you can know your client's design so that you know how you can best support your client. And how you can best support your client is mostly going to be through your open centers. So in your case, for example, Kerstin, you have your head and your ajna opened. So you're really good at thinking from multiple perspectives. You're really good at, even I would say like brainstorming different ideas. You know what people are thinking. You just like embrace, you just naturally know what they're thinking without them even telling you. You know, and you get a sense, and that inspires even new ideas.
That's why I'm so good at facilitating visioning sessions.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
Because of your open centers.
Yeah.
So in your case, when you do one-on-one coachings, or when you're in these space, when you're sharing your energy with small groups, you're just picking up on all these ideas, and that's why your workshops are so different. Because it's kind of like you're tapping into their minds. You're like getting their ideas out without them even telling you. And it's a wonderful space to be with somebody who has that openness. And depending on other people, depending on their open centers, the way that you coach is going to be based on your openness, because it's kind of like your openness is the key to your clients' pains, to their insecurities, to whatever it is that they're bringing forth, where you're just getting up this sense of, okay, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm sharing. As a client, I had a wonderful experience with a coach who has an open throat, an open head and an open throat. And it was so amazing because I had all these ideas. We were talking about my offer, and I had all these ideas, but I couldn't really express them. But it was magic because she just kept on pulling them through. And I would, say 3 words, kind of, very rough, not really what I wanted to say, but hoping that she would get the idea. And she would get my words, and she would like make them into these beautiful statements, into these powerful statements. So it's because she was working from her open throat. And I was amazed. I was like, I love being in your energy. You are so cool. Because and it's not something that she was trained to do. It's just naturally, she was just being who she was and really engaging. So that's how you coach. You coach through your openness. And when you're creating courses, it's the opposite. You create courses based on your definition, based on the centers that you have defined, because that's the energy that travels. Okay. And that's the energy that people are going to receive from you.
Well, I think I need to book another private session with you to find out more about this. Awesome, Andrea. This is so exciting. Is there anything else that I think that you think people should know when they look into their marketing and branding? Before we wrap up this super session that I think could go on like a whole day.
Yeah, we could totally go down the rabbit hole with human design. In essence, first, when it comes to building a strategy, when it comes to, what am I here to talk about, or even course creation, there really isn't one size fits all. It really depends on how you are designed. And there are tons of factors that go into consideration. That's that's also one of the reasons why there's only one of you. And that's also one of the reasons why we shouldn't really worry about the competition, because there's only one of you. There's only one who has this energetic definition, who can give people this specific energy, and who is here to, with a specific purpose. There's only one of you, and that makes it beautiful. And the other thing is, as a coach and as a service provider, don't be afraid. Don't shy away from listening to that intuition, listening to that inner voice that's silently telling you, oh, maybe you should do this, why don't you try that? And not being so eager to quiet it down because there is some other expert that is telling you this isn't really how you should do it. And really receive, like you were saying, all the information that you're getting from these experts with an open heart, with an open mind, but really receiving and choosing what you want to stay with and not, and also being keen to experiment, because it's in the experimentation that we also get to know ourselves. That's the beautiful journey of being and creating a business on your own, and the self-knowledge that comes with it and the self-discovery.
Yeah, absolutely. This is beautiful. Thank you, Andrea. This was so cool. Is there anything before we end our session today? How can people connect with you if they want to learn more? You mentioned you have a program that you just started. Is there anything else that you would like to share? How can people learn with you about them and the human design?
The best way to connect with me is through my Instagram. I'm at ang.transformationcatalyst. Yes, I do have a program, which is basically to show you how you are uniquely designed to run your business, not only when in the strategy part, but also on the back end, what support do you need so that you can build a sustainable business that's good for you and healthy for you, and that can connect you with your purpose.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. So people, I will follow, please follow Andrea on Instagram. I will share the link in the description of our Brandcast today. And thank you so much, Andrea. This was amazing.
My pleasure.
And yeah, and I think it's really important for us to really tune in, find out who we really are so that we can shine and really bring to the world what we have to offer.
My pleasure. It's been so good to share this space with you and with all your viewers and listeners. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Bye.